Learning to oot it.
All right. Bottoms up. Boys.
Bottoms are usually down.
Smell it.
Smells like...
It's like milky.
You're like milky.
I give you my milky.
Dude, do
you like milky?
Do you want your phone underneath of the thing? Yeah, that's what I fucking thought.
Fucking bullshit out of here.
Fucking bullschnips.
Okay.
Ginseng beverage sipper. Well.
Oh, it's weird. Will you taste it?
I guess I'll taste it.
It tastes like maple syrup, kind of.
It tastes like a mocha.
Whoa!
Oh man, that was some bird shit.
I just got fucking. Dude, is that what World War II was like?
That's why they killed all the carrier pigeons.
Fucking welcome to another episode of Nitro Ride. Oh my god.
We just got squarted.
Dude, just fucking artillery bombed.
Oh, by a large bird.
Hey, I'm Coyote.
I am the Cosmos.
And today, we're drinking strange
ginseng.
Korean red ginseng drink number 4, Hong Sam Won, Cheong Kwan Zhang, Korea Ginseng Corp, #1 ginseng brand, 6 years grown, Korea origin, no caffeine, no artificial colors, vegan friendly, non-GMO, 5 natural herbal ingredients.
Well, shout out to that.
Yeah.
Get yourself one today.
Yeah, if you know the kind Indian man that runs the superette, he might be able to hook you up with one of these packets for only $2.
For $2, and what it does,
we'll find out.
Exactly.
Dude, we got
fucking shit on.
Dude, we got shit on.
That's the sign to stop making this podcast.
Yeah. The final episode. Today we're talking about
growth.
Today we're talking about growth.
Yes.
Hey, that's all we ever talk about, really.
Yeah. In a over encroaching sense.
Yeah. So let's just.
Well, we're trying to grow through what we go through, baby.
Oh, always. We'll just rip the Band-Aid off.
Ripping the Band-Aid off.
Slam into it. I'm going through all kinds of growth right now, obviously.
Yeah, you've like 2 inches at least today.
Dude,
You're a mongoloid child.
I'm getting wide and tall in every respect.
Pituitary gland disorder.
Mm-hmm. I fucking am feeling pretty goddamn good right now.
Same.
It's taken a lot of work to get here. I'm not introducing anybody else into the shit that I'm up to right now. Hence the celibacy thing. I'm a month and a few days celibate.
Celebrating yourself.
Yeah. And the most important, arena that I've wanted to grow in, that we've talked about quite a bit so far, is honesty. And I have grown to realize that that's actually very important to me, even though I've been so dishonest.
That it was always important to you.
Yeah, exactly. Because if it wasn't important to me, then it wouldn't matter that I was ever dishonest. You know what I mean?
Well, you have a moral compass. It's not like you're a sociopath or devoid of understanding.
Yeah.
You just got swept up in things and they got away from you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
but the whole time, you respect people that are truthful and honest, and you want those people in your camp.
Yeah. It's kind of funny that I wasn't able to register it sooner, and that it took a bunch of lessons and introspection to realize how important honesty was to me.
And how powerful the opposite was.
Yes.
Because that's what you were saying after the second trip. You're like, man, I could be so evil if I wanted to be.
That was so crazy, man. Looking at all of this bad shit that I've done, and seeing that I could access this super villain within me.
Yeah.
That's fuck, you could just be evil.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to figure out some coping mechanism for shitty behavior, or instead of justifying things, or instead of making active decisions to become something that's good, you could just become a fucking supervillain.
Yeah.
You could just I could just totally live for myself.
Fall into that cycle.
Yeah, exactly, and just use it all as a weapon, and then I would never be hurt again, because and sometimes I'll say a lot become what is feared instead of what is afraid.
Yeah.
And it's usually in the respect of oh, I don't want to get in this cold river or something like that. Or I'm like playing a scary video game, you know?
That's more like you versus the elements.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's
Exactly.
not nature. You versus your own like resistance to experiencing something that is difficult for 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And instead I was like manipulating it into being like, I can be the enemy of man, you know?
Yeah. Well, and you can though.
And you can. You have that power. And
Well, that's the thing about putting. You have like the barometers of a saying, where you say that, you know, and you run off of that, and then you don't realize that it doesn't work in the aspect you're trying to make it work. Like, oh, this is just a saying for a cold river and not talking to people.
yeah.
That's where I've had, like, I cultivated that everything is your fault, and like, yeah, it's not like grammatically even correct, like how you would say that. Like, but it just works. It's just so ingrained that I'm not going to change it now, and I know what it's for, and I have to explain it.
Yeah.
Because it's like my own personal, like, creed I run by.
Yeah, time and a place. And it's a tool, and, you know, tools have their means. You're not going to fucking
Wash dishes with a hammer.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to use a staple gun to hang a fucking painting, you know?
Or a beam.
Yeah, or a beam.
Sometimes it's a beam people try to hang with a stapler.
This drink is so fucking weird, man.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those kinds of flavors. Man, that's how you know COVID's almost over, is the Overlook is open.
Hey, gate's open.
This has been closed.
Man, I went to fucking Left Coast last night with I'm best man for my buddy's wedding.
Oh,
and
fuck.
Went with the in-laws family, and there was a fucking million people outside.
Oh, I bet.
Oh.
And how many points is it to hit a lady with a knee brace?
Oh my god, this big. This is a fucking hefty lady. This fucking ooh, I almost said something really
Yeah, what
mean.
the fuck? I'll kill you. She's probably got 85 children.
She's probably such a sweetheart.
She is.
She's probably such
like
a
that
fucking
square
crybaby.
woman that one time we were doing.
Oh yeah. That's a fucking 13-year-old.
The front end of his car looks like he's a 13-year-old.
Okay, let's say some shit with some substance.
Hey man.
Fighter of the night, man.
Yeah, substance comes and goes. I'm still drinking this caffeinated substance to get where I need to be.
You're still catching up?
Mm-hmm.
I need to open this. So
I feel like I was talking to Alan last night about...
Gross, dude.
I know. Who talks to girls? Fucking Alan. Fucking gross-ass girls. Stinking like patchouli. Sorry, Alan. Just about, like, we got on the topic of just, like, I don't know how we even got there, but I was just talking about, like, doing this podcast, and I guess it was just we were talking about that the podcast is, like, going up, and, like, we have episodes out, and we're really trying, and, like, it feels really good to work on it, because it's almost, like, active therapy at the same time as, like, just getting shit out, and, like, you hit these weird streams of consciousness that you don't normally hit, because we're learning how to talk better and more like fluent while we're doing it, and it's just like I'm growing into this, like, this person that I always knew I was, that loves to just talk about stuff and work on problems and think.
And it's like a proper outlet for all of that.
It's totally a proper outlet, and, like, when I don't want to do it for me, I want to do it for you. And because I'll get down on myself, and I'll got this negative self-talk will start, and I can push it down if it's not just about me, because I don't want to be.
Oh, I see.
Like not to say that, like, it's like, oh, I don't want to do this podcast anymore, but it's like, oh man, like, but no, like, Dodge Coyote's going, let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm fucking ready to fucking.
We can, like, disable ourselves and, like, bring down our own motivation. Well, that's the power of tribe.
Yeah. You pull each other up.
Exactly. You can pull each other up. You, like, utilize each other in the properest of ways. Yeah, I definitely feel that. Like, even Yeah, it's definitely like very therapeutic and cathartic.
It is.
And
it helps me realize a lot of things in just the way I talk and the patterns that I go through. And
yes, I think that there's like a lot about our physiology that isn't as learned or isn't as taught as a lot of other aspects of being a person is, or like it's just not as prioritized. Like, for example, there are breathing exercises that can change how components of your body are functioning, right? And so, like, if you, I don't fucking butcher me if this is wrong, but,
I will.
It's like prolonged exhales and shorter inhales slow down the heart rate, and the opposite is the opposite, right? Like, so
yeah, when you become fully charged.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the
and
Iceman.
If you, yes, like that.
William Hoff.
William Hoff, yes, Hoff. Thank you.
William Hoff. I know of the Iceman.
And if you're in an environment where you need to focus and like study up, then you take like.
You fully charge. You keep that. You oxygenate all your cells. Mm-hmm. And then they react better. They're more energized.
Yeah, there's all these little pockets inside the lungs, and if you like deep inhales and like really short, sharp exhales, that like fills this like the highest number of pockets or something to that effect. And that affects your outlook like automatically, whether that's because you're trying to mellow yourself down or hype yourself
mellow
up.
yourself
up. And there's all kinds of other things.
Yeah, you're trying to get yourself. You're preparing yourself. Oh, now who done it?
It's done.
Now who done it?
It never happened.
This is why you got shit on today.
Dude, that was the most shit I've ever seen.
Yeah,
the whole windshield just
I know.
plastered.
It's a god dumped paint from
Whoa!
Fucking pigeons,
dude,
sky rats.
Oh my god. Mother Nature's having
God,
it for us
I
today.
know what the fuck's going on.
But that's like running is another example. There's so many things. Like I've watched so many videos on how to run better, like longer and further without hurting
breathing
yourself.
Patterns.
And people don't know. I think we're at a point in our culture and in our education system that people don't know automatically. They're not taught at a young age to run effectively and efficiently, and they're not taught the breathing exercises. And in the same respect, I think we're not taught to communicate very well with one another. Like there is at some point, maybe people teach like there's communication is sender, message, receiver, and like maybe there's some like reaffirmation or whatever affirmation. It's like, this is what you said, right? Yes, correct. And that's all that we really teach in terms of communicating with one another. But by ways of like practice and practicing communication to the point where you want to become better at it, and that's what this effectively is, right? Like Nitro Ride is us talking, and slowly but surely we're getting better at talking, and it's a skill, and that's not very known. I think. It's
a private form of public speaking. And it's really weird. That's where podcasting is weird.
Yeah.
I found myself getting like emotional about it. Because I'm like, man, like as I was telling Alan, like we hit on some like deep stuff sometimes, and like I'm trying to be really open and good at talking, and like and it's really it's a not a lot of people even do this.
It's true.
Like this level of like willingness to be open. And not to say I'm fucking doing anything anyone couldn't do.
Yeah.
But like. For me personally, it's like shining a light into my life, into how I, it holds me accountable. Mm-hmm. I listen back on it while I'm editing. When I listen to it 6 times, I go, you know what? Dude. I do believe that.
Yeah.
Or you know what? I need to refresh how I say that.
Yeah, and it's funny how much it'll like flip. Like it's hard for me to listen to the older podcasts sometimes, like episodes like 1 through, I don't know, 4 or whatever, just because it was like before or kind of like it was right after the breakup, and there was all these feelings that I didn't address and all
working
this like
through some stuff.
Yeah, I was working through all this shit, or even times that I wasn't working through the shit that I kind of had hanging on in the background. And it's weird listening to that person.
Knowing that you're holding back
information. It feels dishonest. You know?
And that, dude, what a great way to get you into practicing honesty is like privately talking about it with me in this car and then we go and it goes up, and then you go, okay, well,
Yeah.
this is what people know about me.
Yeah.
This is a first impression, and I'm not being full.
Yes.
Like,
exactly. And that's so hard because it's like, it's the first episode that's going up, or the second episode. Like, that's going to be a lot of people's first exposure to it. And I don't know if that's what I want their first exposure to be, but that's probably always the case. And that's why we get into situations where we can't show up to parties because of interactions that we had with people 10 years
which
ago.
Is stupid.
That was their impression of us, right?
Well, and if you can't accept that people change and grow and that are working on things, and if they listen to the podcast 2 more, 3 more episodes, they go, oh, look at him try to work.
Changing.
He's thinking about stuff.
Yeah.
Your opinion can change because that's what growth is.
Yeah.
You get a new bit of information and you go, oh, fuck, like, I think I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Or I need to adapt a little bit.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of fucking going back and listening to shit that we've
Yeah.
said. Because I'm sure there's been so many times in my life where I've said something and it's just like, there it goes, you know?
Yeah.
And it's gone, disappeared from me, but
And then
it leaves
someone's
this like
been holding
compounding effect in somebody's ears and in their head, and I don't even realize that I'm a fucking misogynist to somebody, you know? Or like, and that's the beauty of
And they just hold on to you as
Yeah.
an asshole forever. And then you're at a party and you look over and they're giving you weird looks.
Yes, exactly.
And
you're
you
like,
go,
what the fuck did I do?
dude? Like, I don't know why you don't like me.
Yeah, and then you somehow hear from one another, or some other person that they think that this super negative thing about, like, if you, the radical end of the spectrum, think that you're a fucking racist.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck? What did I do? Like,
Yeah.
And then you're racking your brain, and you don't have a fucking audio recording to pull back up and look through. Instead, it's just filling gaps with weird rubber that is not gonna stick.
Well, and that's the whole thing with lies are amorphous, and or not even lies, but like in the moment you get into it and you just say things sometimes.
It's true.
Like the other episode when I was talking about like my parents, and I you know, when we're gonna do a one on family coming up, but it's just like I don't mean to sound so harsh about my family. I'm in the moment and I'm thinking about all these other things, and like, I mean, and I always double back and go, I have the best family. I love my family.
Yeah.
But but I just don't like. It reminds me of just like hurting people's feelings, or like it's the same. I don't want anybody to like. Then I just have to like disconnect myself from that, because it's not about me trying to hurt anybody's feelings.
Yeah.
And if you can stop listening to something at any point and then choose to only hear that part. But there is the part where I say the rest is good.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
yeah, that's like where so many people get fucked, is having snippets of conversation taken out of context.
Like, that's where, so like the social climate, once again, I always say the social climate, the social climate is like that, because you only get a 15 or a 59 second Instagram video.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Or whatever before it goes to Reels, and no one wants to fucking
watch
a
reel.
And it only takes a fucking second.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the inclination is not there to sit through this long form thing.
Yeah.
Unless you really are looking for that. But when you're scrolling,
just like
it's just, I don't
6 seconds, 10 seconds.
I don't want to watch this movie right now.
It's so bizarre. I was like, I'm flipping through YouTube every now and then, and because I deleted my Instagram, or that's now it's fucking replace with one vice with another.
Yes.
But I'll be like going through videos and I'm like, 12 minutes? That's like way too long. And it's YouTube, you know?
Yeah.
Like fucking there's some 2-hour videos a lot of 2-hour videos that I watch on YouTube that are fucking shit. And one will pull up that's like 3 minutes long. And I'm like, I don't really want to fucking.
Yeah.
And you keep scrolling. 3 fucking minutes, man? Why are you here? Why are you, like, I think that the most impactful content typically is going to be quite a bit longer than a couple of seconds, you know?
That's like, whenever I really want to, I mean, I remember I had an hour lunch when I worked at the print shop. And this was like 2016 to 2018. And I'd sit out in my truck and I'd run over, get a burrito every day, same thing, for 2 years.
Hell yeah.
and eat my burrito and listen to whatever I could find on YouTube after a while.
Yeah.
And that's how I fell into Joe Rogan. And that's how I fell into like Alan Watts and learning about all these things. And those videos are 3 hours long, are 2.5 hours long, and I go, well, I got nothing better to fucking do. You know, I watched all the Joe Rogan snippets that are like 20 minutes with cool people, and then I'm like, you know what? There's more.
Yeah.
And then I started watching. I was like, oh man, these are filled with a lot of views, and I like that. I like the non-objectiveness of it. We're just shooting the shit.
Yeah.
And I kind of take that into my demeanor of like, yeah, we're just shooting the shit. It's not serious. We're just hanging out and talking about stuff. Like that's how we learn.
Yes.
We're learning from each other.
Yeah, and if I like come into it with the intention of having it be, dude, what the fuck? I'm such a bad
you are
bad man. What? Oh, wait. Oh, Matt fucking Red called me.
Of course he did.
Oh, he's trying to come up. Trying to visit at some point soon.
Oh, good.
I'm not gonna fucking be here, dummy. But yes, yeah, fucking I don't know if that's a like totally. I think it's probably a totally learned behavior. Like, oh, this video is too long. That whole.
I think it just doesn't fit the mold of your attention span because you're used to scrolling.
Right.
You're used to just absorbing information. And when I find myself hitting the fucking infinite scroll wheel, I'll fucking just throw my phone when I realize.
I did exactly that today. I was like, I have all these plans, all these fucking tasks to perform, thrown up on the whiteboard, and I accomplished, like 3 of them, and then just rode on the phone for fucking 20 minutes, and that was the whole reason why I got off Instagram.
Dude, it's a drug.
It is a drug.
It's. Did you ever watch The Social Dilemma?
No.
You got to watch Social Dilemma first off, just so that you can, because I feel like that is the first real like documentary on the mechanics and the mental behaviors people get into because of social media. And it really breaks down how social media is hitting you with all of these different stimulus things. Like you're being stimulated in so many different ways that, like when you're coming up on acid and your brain's dumb and you just love colors and feeling textures.
Mania.
And it's the same thing. It basically puts your brain, it knows how to capture your attention so well that you might as well be fucking rolling. Like and until you're totally absorbed.
Yeah.
And it's designed to do that. It's you versus an entire staff of people and a fucking AI that knows you. It has a little clone of what you like.
Algorithm based off of
all that data
clicks that you click.
All that data you give away for free every time you say you want to give it away.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think that within knowing that is how it works, I can better defend myself against that pattern.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
I'm growing to know how to. I'm just using the word growing for our sake of our thing right now. I'm learning to use social media in a positive way. We make an Instagram for our business.
Right.
We make I make an Instagram for my art.
Yes.
I share things that are impactful to people that I like. Or that like, who would love this? You would love this.
Yeah.
And then I go, okay, but is there anything left? Okay, no, I don't want to play anymore.
Yes.
I'm over this game, I throw it.
Yes.
I go, I want to learn something is usually where I'm at. And as soon as I realize I'm not learning anything, I throw my phone down. Or I go, okay, I'm going to see what new podcast I can listen to is.
Yeah, for
or
sure.
what little
find something
tidbit.
Of some substance.
Yeah,
here.
you got to find substance because it's
just
there.
It's funny. I wonder how slow time used to be to people that didn't have the devices that we do now, because like hours can disappear very quickly.
Yeah.
With the phone in your hand. Like that happened to me today. 2 hours from fucking 10 o'clock to when we started riding was just boop, gone.
Yeah.
Totally deleted. And how often does that happen? I mean, we've always had our own distractions, like our human distractions that we create, going as far back as the book,
Well, it feels good to not be bored.
It does, yeah. And, boredom, it can get incredibly meta, and we could, section away into the idea that we need more and more boredom, and so remove thyself from all media. Like, don't even fucking read a book. But
You
I
don't
don't
need
want
to do that.
Yeah, I don't want to get
because
there.
that's where the information is.
Yes. So then, if as the graybeards that we are, living in the gray all the time, always trying to find compromise, I think, read a book whenever the fuck you want and as many times as you want.
Yeah.
But maybe watching the 6-second videos, fucking loop after loop after loop for 2 hours, and suddenly the 2 hours disappear and you have nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Watch something that has a little bit more substance. And I would never want to bash on like the long form media or even the short stuff that has a lot of like artistic vision.
And just know if it's something with substance or not. It doesn't matter how long it is.
Like that fucking Wire video that I've watched like 100,000 times by Worthy Kids. That's a great example. Like fucking and very well animated, and it's like original music. The whole video is probably like 2 minutes long, but it's a fucking trip. And that I've thought about at least once a week since I've seen it.
Well, dude, and that's like for me, Felix Colgrave. Just things that make you feel that thing. You go, wow, like this is really fucking cool.
Yes.
Like I fuck with this.
Yeah.
Like, and then there's a difference between I fuck with this and just zonking out for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because you're bored and you instinctively, your brain's like hitting the morphine button.
Yes, exactly.
And
it's hard to fucking wrench yourself out of that sometimes.
It really is a fucking wrenching feeling.
Yeah. Like, oh, get away, fuck.
But you gotta fight that feeling. You gotta know that it's not all there is, and you gotta know that it's usually in between you doing something productive that will make you feel better, that will give you the feeling that you're looking for. Mm-hmm. And that's like what I was talking about when I said, it's not can I do something, it's will I do something. Yeah. And I feel like I hide behind a lot of, well, that's going to be hard. Like what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's going to be cold in the water for a second.
Oh, yeah.
It's that feeling. And social media is dipping just your toe in for 3 hours.
Right, yeah. Standing lapping at your knees.
Yeah, right. Just above your fucking nuts, because that's where the cold water hurts.
Exactly. Just get in there, dude. Just get in there.
It's and that's where you got to go, okay, I don't need a distraction right now.
Yeah.
I'm actively just all my life is going to be as distractions. And I can't do that anymore because I got to pay my fucking bills on time.
Yeah.
And I was talking to what else I was talking to Alan was about last night was that like I'm sorry, writers, for always bringing up that I was schizo, but it was such it just ingrained a lot of things.
Yeah.
And one thing in particular I'm noticing more and more as I start challenging my weird negative self-talk is that I challenge it because I'm used to fighting, like, any voice in my head that doesn't feel like I'm actively saying it. Like, those impulse thoughts, like, oh, you should work out. And I go, yeah, that'd be great. But you know what? It sounds like it's coming from a foreign place. It's not
another person inside of me.
And I actively suppress
what
I do.
That sounds like PTSD.
And that's what Alice was saying. I was like, fuck, man. Like, yeah, it does feel like that. And so every time I have...
Not to promote self-diagnosing or anything
but
that's the bell that fires off in my head when I say that.
And it's not like that makes me feel belittled, that if that even is it.
Right.
Like, I don't need to go pay a therapist. I'm working on it.
I hear you.
But it's just weird because, like, I just keep challenging myself. Like, to the point where my brain's like, okay, you got to pay your bills.
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, that'd be great on paper, but it's coming from a different place and I'm not going to do it. And all my bills were always late.
Yeah.
On purpose. I have the money in my bank account.
Yeah.
And I just wouldn't set up autopay or whatever. And I would just and eventually I go, you know what? It's as easy as just setting up autopay. Yes. I don't even have to think about it.
Yes.
I live in a time where I only got to think about it. Just fucking start it.
Yeah.
And that's where I need to just remind myself, I just need to start.
Yeah.
If I can just start pushing this,
yes,
I'm not going to want to stop pushing it.
Yeah.
And like this podcast, great example. We started this. It feels fucking great.
Yes.
And I want to push it.
Yes.
I want to, because it doesn't feel like anything.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
I get excited. I'm making art. I'm making all these things.
The fucking the actual load of it as well. Like we made fucking, I don't know, like 6, 7 of these rides without ever actually uploading anything or even like making an account or doing this or doing that. And this is like hands down, I'm sure I speak for both of us when I say that this is the important part. Like you and me sitting down talking
definitely
is where all of my growth comes from.
I don't not from over analyzing the audio.
Exactly. Yeah, and fucking that another. I mean, this isn't for the sake of like gaining a bunch of money or anything like that. Like I think that what it is for me is that I'm taking a lot away from this, and I'm thinking that, well, since it has enough power to make a serious impact on me, it potentially could have enough power to have a serious impact on somebody else. Hence, putting it up where people can see it.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I go back and listen to it, I'm like reassured in that facet. I'm like, fuck, this is really something here is strong.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of power in what I'm figuring out in this, crystallization of the video.
Well, no, and that's the whole thing, is just like being aware of the crystallization of like
just who we were in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And I'm just very happy that it's beneficial both ways. I feel like both of us really appreciate the other person's input, and it's just good to fucking talk about whatever you need to talk about.
Yes.
It's there. We have a platform that it's nothing but wins.
Yeah.
Whenever, even if I'm buying even if you're spending gas, and I'm fucking buying programs or
caffeine every time, buying programs,
or like whatever. Like this is why I invested in an iPad, because I needed something to just have for a multitude of creative things.
Yeah, and even though we're not fucking like qualified, we don't have some kind of PhD.
Oh, who needs that?
This is straight therapy for me. Like 100%. I'm a better, healthier person post this than pre this, and thusly I feel like all of the investments are worth it. I don't even consider the fact that maybe someday we'll make a return on uploading.
Well, it was an investment in yourself.
Exactly.
And that really is the most important thing you can do.
Yeah.
Is invest in yourself and the people that are going to help you reinvest in yourself. And like back to people, like choosing people to be in your camp, like don't let a fucking criminal in there.
Yeah.
Because then it'll just devalue what you think of like your close friends. Like I've been in friend groups before where you let a person in that doesn't really gel.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing unravels and you don't see any of those people anymore.
All of the
or like you get a fucking you have a group of friends, then you start dating one of them.
Yes.
And then it really falls apart. And then everyone else in the group's like, well, we don't really, this is weird. Like this wasn't the vibe we thought we were getting on.
Yeah. I definitely get that. It's like betrayal of expectations.
That's
always jarring in and of itself.
But I mean, like, hey, fuck you. Like, I can date who I want.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, like, I get it. Like, it does make it weird when now you guys, all my friends feel like a third wheel.
Yeah, it's like us plus you guys.
And I don't even want to be dating this person either.
Ugh.
That was the first time that I had ever dated somebody because they were persistent in asking me out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I just kind of fell into it. And I ended up cheating on that person. That's the only person I've ever cheated on.
Yeah.
And I realized that I wasn't ever into it.
Yeah.
And like I was saying I love you and like trying to play the part.
Right. And you can fool yourself into believing a lot of those things. Like even if you do like cheat on somebody, and there's so many different fucking variables that go into that scenario.
Yeah.
But I think that we really can believe that it like a fake it till you make it scenario in terms of relationships with people isn't a bad thing.
Well, the younger you are, the more inclination you
Yeah.
have to be like, well, I don't know what a relationship is. Is
Yeah,
this
so
what a
maybe it's
relationship
this.
is?
Yeah,
I'm
for
trying things. I'm plugging things in,
Yeah.
literally and figuratively.
Yeah, I have this fucking motherboard here, and I'm trying to figure out what shit is and
Well,
where it fits.
And above all else, when you're everywhere from 16 to 25, sex is the biggest part of it for a dude most of the time.
Yeah.
Or like a huge component, and
Yeah.
and especially like when you start relying on the other person to be there to like help you physically, like both of you. There's like, I know so many dudes. It's like, yeah, but I just can't be alone. I can't. Like, I need to be physically intimate. Like, I
Yes.
need this person to be in my life because like I can't go back to jerking off.
Yeah.
And the fear is literally I don't want to jerk off, and so they're in a shitty relationship because the sex is great.
Or even like, and I mean, this is a part of I talked about this a little bit when we were doing the pornography one. Like, I misconstrued like sex as intimacy, as like the only form of intimacy, and thusly like
warped the idea of you didn't have a foundation in a relationship because you were performing for a camera that wasn't there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not at all healthy, of course, and it betrays it can betray the expectation of the other person because maybe they're a little bit more fucking progressed than I was in that scenario. And also it taints any kind of intimacy that you have, or that I had, because like I interpreted sex as intimacy. It was like a 1-to-1 equation.
Yeah.
Instead of there being different forms of intimacy. And
do you think that plugs into you wanting attention? Like if you're not getting that like level of sexual performance that you had thought was the reality of what an intimacy is, and it's not ever being fulfilled, and so you're like, well, fuck, like this too, like like is this a downstream component?
Trigger word for me now.
I
Trigger
love it.
phrase.
I love it.
That is a very good question. I've been thinking a lot about how my desire for attention ties to like sexual urges and compulsions and my idea of intimacy, and thus the celibacy. Like,
that's figure it out.
That you asked me last night, what have you learned after I told you that. And another fucking example. Oh my gosh, so many bits and pieces.
You want to go up?
Yeah, let's go up.
Let's go up.
You said a little bit ago, like sometimes you'll just say shit, and even here, even in our therapy, like shit. And that there was a moment of that last night. Like I said that I had been a month and 6 days celibate, and I knew as I was saying that it wasn't true. It was like a month and 2 days.
That's fine.
But it's like
just
now,
giving yourself that little buffer.
Yeah, and now as a result of this like honesty journey that I've been on, that was like a couple of days. It was like sitting with me the whole time, and I was like working with like it's totally, it doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. Those couple of days, it's not like I'm gonna grab you tomorrow and be like, hey man, I fucking lied yesterday. I am not actually a month and 6 days. And
actually,
you'll be totally destroyed by that.
Yeah,
it's completely irrelevant.
I'm obviously really distraught.
Yes.
The live feed camera I set up in your room, I knew that you haven't been celibate for those 4 days you lied about.
God damn it. And zero suspicions when you set up a teddy bear on my dresser without consulting me.
Yep, that butt plug actually had a camera in it. And you haven't been using it, and I'm very disappointed.
There's a window.
And it stinks.
But hence the celibacy.
Yes.
So like trying to refigure out what intimacy means to me and like love.
Yeah.
And also like changes in my approach to pornography. I've fucking fallen off the train a little bit over the last couple of days because I think I was like very stressed from this week of spiking, and it turns into like, okay, I need to maximize my like stress relief.
Yeah, you got to get
over
your
the
you got to
next 2
get your
days.
pleasures in.
Yeah, because now I'm gonna go available, tomorrow, and I'm gonna disappear, and like it's going to be an all stress, all work performance environment for multiple days, and so my like psyche's in this really weird place.
Your undulating psyche.
Yeah, this is like the switch is flipped on now.
Yeah.
Essentially, like I'm in the time of the year where it's fucking all work, no play. Johnny's a very dull boy.
Yes.
But I was bringing you fucking back around to what I'm learning from celibacy. I was laying down. I was like sleeping bagged up out in the forest for this crew cohesion spike out, right?
Yeah.
So try to get everybody
prepared
kind of
and
relaxed and comfortable with staying the night with one another. And I was just like tossing and turning because all that I could think about were the good times between me and my ex. And
sleeping bags probably do that to you, don't they?
Yeah, they do. That's true. Dude, the weird Pavlovian responses I have, I feel like, oh God, it's just so abnormal. Like, I feel like the shit that I tie to things
direct correlations, man.
Yeah.
No, that happens to everybody.
Yeah, it's true.
Dude,
whether you hear a certain song and get
whether
immediately aroused.
I went out to my car, my old car that's all beaten up and shitty. I opened the glove box, and what do I smell but my ex's perfume? And I'm ruined for 3 days.
Oh, God, dude.
And I'm looking around my house, and I go, we put that up together, and oh, man, right there's where it happened, and right there's where we broke up, and oh, man. Yeah. And you just spiral. It's not... Yeah. That is so human and normal.
For me, it's like all of this waste stuff. Like anytime that I like don't wash out a bottle before I throw it into the recycling, I immediately start thinking about my ex because it was somebody who was super environmentally conscious.
Yeah.
And then it's just
down the drain.
Yeah, down the fucking drain.
But you're in your sleeping bag.
And I'm in my sleeping bag and I'm tossing and turning and thinking about all of the good times and trying to remember all of the difficulties and I've been trying to figure out whether the shitty parts of our relationship, the stuff that didn't work, and the stuff I didn't like about the relationship, was a result of her knowing that I was being dishonest. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I want to know. It's probably not even relevant anymore because it's not going to change how I'm growing right now. But I want to know how much of that was because she was so incredibly deeply suspicious of me.
Yeah.
Like that would translate into all of the bad parts of our relationship. The reason why that didn't get to be my happily ever after was because solely because I was dishonest,
Totally.
And I think that there is some potential there. Like even if so, that's okay because I did it. I was dishonest, and thusly I needed to learn the lesson that I have now.
Yeah. Look at it, but don't let it destroy you.
Yes.
That's not going to help you being destroyed because you don't progress.
Yeah.
You're just living destroyed, and it's not good for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, I don't think that she wants you to fucking destroy yourself.
Yeah.
There's nothing gained there.
I think that once the like really harsh emotions start to subside, all of the pain of being hurt, I think that you're probably right. Like, I don't think she's gonna want me to fucking be destroyed. You know?
Well, she would have been like, "Hey, go fucking kill yourself, bud."
Yeah.
There are phrases that people say, and even then, it's not that.
Well, she did say some pretty harsh stuff.
She did, but she didn't go, don't exist anymore.
That's true. She didn't say, "I wish you were dead."
Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of people will say in that scenario.
Fuck yeah, they do.
And so I'm there, and I'm thinking about intimacy, and I'm thinking about I'm feeling very, very alone, and I have right now. Maybe I'll delete them today, depending on how I digest this talk afterwards. But I have a fucking spank bank on my phone. Like, it's all of these. It's not like nudes of exes.
Yeah.
It is instead these videos that I've like screen recorded over the last couple of years
That just rock your little muffin?
Yes, that just rock. Oh my god, that rock my muffin, dude. And I downloaded them because there's so many times out on fires where I don't have any internet service, and we could be on a fucking 30-day roll, and I gotta rub one out. And I fucking wasn't able to use my imagination, which I now think is a healthier alternative because it adds all that agency, woo shit that we talked about in the previous podcast. And I was in this down place, feeling very lonely, feeling like intimacy maybe wasn't really an option for me anymore.
And so you fucking
and
opened
so
the forbidden
I
tone.
open this fucking restricted section on my phone, and I'm laying there, and I can hear... I went to bed earlier than everybody else, or a few of the guys, and I hear them talking over by the fire pit. And they're like, you know, cracking jokes and kind of hanging out. And I was like, what you're doing right now is ostracizing yourself, man. Like,
right?
You are
you feel away, so you're like hiding.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like furthering the divide between who I am being and who I want to be. And so I like just turned it off, and I didn't fucking rub one out in my sleeping bag that night to some gnarly porn from 3 years ago. And
dude, that's great.
Yeah, I do. I think that was
fucking great.
And it's like, you know, it was a little win, but like the next day when we were playing volleyball after work, because we got to do that every day, it was fucking sick.
Yeehaw, baby.
I was smashing it, and then I stayed out a little bit later with them, and I was like, I think that this is positive result from last night's decision.
Yeah.
And I just keep seeing more and more of those. Like when my buddy called me a very, like, you are a much more genuine person than who you used to be. That was like, these felt so good to hear.
Yeah.
And I never would have known.
Evidence or proof or whatever.
It's like this validation, but I never would have known that would have been such a strong compliment to me, because for such a large part of my life, I didn't realize that honesty was something
you weren't living from there.
I wasn't. I totally wasn't. I was living in this world wherein, like, words are there to manipulate your reality into what you want it to be.
Yeah.
And that's not...
You're forging an identity.
Yeah, we don't have that much power around the, like, in regards to the universe. The hardest part about lies is that you got to make the shit true, and we can't speak shit into existence to that regard.
Well, and that's the whole to kind of challenge that in a sense, is that everything is relative.
Yeah.
You know, like if you say you are, then you are. You don't. One of my favorite lessons I learned from working at the pizza place, because Jessie is she's a little old lady, and she's really good at meditating and doing astral projection and all these things, and she taught me all of these things.
Yeah.
And she told me, she's like, never surrender your spiritual power. You know, you're infinitely powerful. Don't belittle yourself or your situation or whatever, like, and that's part of where I built I got myself here. This is my fault that I'm here, and I'm gonna fucking get myself out of this.
Yes.
And it really gave me a great, just something to stand on out in the ocean when I was dealing with a lot of shit.
Yeah, drowning.
You're drowning, or looking for some sort of like adoptive parent guidance.
Yes.
And I think that I'm privy to a lot of adoptive parents because I'm just such a air quote nice boy. You know, like older
nice
people
Oh
love
my God,
me.
they're always like, "Oh, you're such a nice boy."
And they're like, "Oh,
you're such a young, handsome, nice boy.
This strapping young man, he's just so sweet. He'll give you, and I remember being in the pizza place and when I was like, I've been working there since I was 18, and just thinking like, okay, it's just me and an old lady here. Like, if I wanted to, I could rob this store and run away and have all this money and and just like letting those reptilian thoughts come in. Well, they are. They're just like survival thoughts. They're like, hey, like, you could do this. Yeah. It is an option.
Yeah.
And I go, well, that's stupid. I'm not going to do that because there's no reason to. I make more I will have a better option in staying here and building rapport with a good person who will respect me than to devalue that trust and take advantage of it.
That's that same feeling that I had to a degree, is like I can become supervillain here.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's like she went away for 2 hours, and I know that I could just leave.
Yeah.
And say I worked those 2 hours.
Yeah.
I could do that, and I'll play with that until it comes down to, hey, what are your hours this week? I'm like, oh yeah, I left after you did.
Yes.
You know, and it's that to me is a key fundamental aspect of it's meditation in a way. Is allowing those thoughts. You don't give them agency.
Yeah.
But you don't fucking try to beat them up. You don't let them stay in there. You go, oh no, that is a dirty, nasty thought.
Right.
And you know what? I'm a bad guy for even thinking of this. And you know what? And because I'm a bad guy, I'm gonna choose that.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's not what it is. It's your brain. I've been thinking about this a lot. Is I don't have to listen to every thought.
Don't.
It's
Absolutely
not.
Don't.
You just can't do that. But you don't have to reject them. If you reject any part of it, it's gonna want to stick to you in a weird way.
Yeah.
Because you're giving energy. You let it just come in and sit with you for a little bit, and you can talk with it and have a cup of coffee with it, and then it'll be like, that was a good lunch day, and it leaves.
Yeah.
On to the next person that's gonna think about it. You know, like it's just a wayward thought.
Yeah, that's an important lesson too. Like, I think that I've definitely been tripped up with that before. Like, ooh, here's something that I could do. Here's some evil I could commit, you know, and thusly assuming that I'm
evil,
so shit for having ever thought that in the first place.
Yeah.
And it's totally not. I mean, you're like, I don't think sainthood is found in no negative bad thoughts.
Yeah.
Like, it is instead found in positive actions, and that can be a pitfall that people, you know, will throw themselves into. I've definitely found myself there, like having that prophecy be, you know, self-fulfilled.
Yeah.
By way of believing that thinking something made me bad, and thusly I should act accordingly.
No, and that I like saying, like, you know, people get scared when you like, you almost hurt them and then you don't. And you're like, well, I didn't, so you can't be mad at me. I won't be reckless next time. But like, don't be like, yeah, you almost killed me. It's like, no, I didn't. Shut the fuck up. I understand.
Yeah.
Like, don't keep bringing this up that I almost killed you that one time.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're making it more than it is, or whatever. It may be not that you almost killed me, but whatever it is, like, you did this and it scared me real bad.
You
it's
fucked
like,
up, man. You fucked up here. You fucked up here.
It's like, well, let it go. Because have I done it since? Probably not.
Yeah.
Are you alive to tell me about it? You
and
fuck?
I certainly haven't done it again. So
don't be an asshole to me about it.
Why are you fucking perpetuating some shit here? Let it go.
Well, yep, let it go.
I have to pee.
Well, then I don't know what to tell you.
Where do I pee?
Did you not wear a diaper this time?
Oh fuck! I left
your Nitro diaper.
I left my Nitro Ride diaper at home today.
Damn. If you keep going and you hit the end, there is that like turnaround zone up at the top there.
Okay. Have you ever been to Vichy Springs before?
Yeah, I've never been into Vichy Springs.
I've been in one time.
Vichy?
Pretty recently. They have champagne baths.
I've heard.
The water's naturally carbonated, and you lay in it, and it looks like a disgusting, like, rock bathtub that millions of people have sweated and sweltered in. And
hell yeah.
It's pretty good.
I bet.
I can't even fucking think. I have to pee so bad right now.
Hey man, pee is, if you pee your pants, you're stronger for it.
I heard. I heard someone. Oh, isn't that Love, Death, and Robots thing? It's like my back teeth are floating. I have to pee so bad.
My back teeth are floating. We're almost there. We're almost there. And I'll pee too.
Oh, I know. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No outlet. Here we are.
Who are you to tell? We have an outlet right here.
Yeah, we're literally in our outlet.
Yeah, right now, fucker.
Okay.
16 fluid outs and
There's
two
dicks
later.
Would you mind if we go and stop by my wife's work?
No. Do that. What's your wife's work? How's your wife?
Huh?
What are we doing?
Oh, just she had a bad day. She thinks something might have gotten stolen from the store, so she's just stressed out.
No.
And I'd like to give her a big kiss.
A big old
big old sloppy kisser.
Butthole kiss.
Yeah, you know. Well, she likes to kiss my butthole. No,
That's, you know what? No, you're worth, King.
No, she doesn't. My wife is a saint. But growth.
Yeah, man.
Dude, I'm just glad that to my own standards,
Yeah.
I'm trying. And I think that's a big deal in just starting. Like, I just need to remind myself to start.
Yeah.
And
well, what's an example of that you've been dealing with lately?
Like exercising. Like, if I just need to start.
Yeah.
Like, I put it up on the board. Like, I'm gonna do, you know, by my 30th birthday, I'm gonna do, you know, 50 push-ups in a row or whatever.
There you go.
Or, you know, 35 pull-ups.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I'm not fit and I don't do things that, like, make my body strong.
Yeah.
Because I landscape. I'm fucking carrying blocks around and pickaxing and doing all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
But I can look at my body, like I was saying in whatever podcast about how I'm uncomfortable with my body and that you know, here comes summer. And I got this little bit of belly fat.
It's in
and
your
I'm in my head since winter.
Yeah.
And instead of just doing the thing, I could have been doing 10 crunches a day since December, and my abs would be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's literally as simple as that, but I push it down and I repress it because I want to fight myself. And it's not like, oh, you don't deserve to do that or you don't deserve to have that. It's literally just like, no. It's my own voice coming in and trying to take control.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to. No.
I can see how that's like a weird control.
It's so weird because I feel good for doing it.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
Yeah. Oh.
Like, I'm really good at denying myself.
Yeah. Well, I think that you kind of, like, I think that, tell me how you feel about this. So, I think that you do that quite a bit, and it's your kind of like big brother nature stems A, obviously from being a big brother to somebody, but B, also as a result of the schizophrenia that you went through, like there's automatically some of this like kickback, some of this recoil to whatever like new or outside thought jumps in.
Yeah, it just becomes an enemy.
Yeah, and that's why they're like, no you won't, no you fucking won't, dude. Like that kind of joke or like, you know, like, you know what I mean?
I like peg it down.
Yeah.
Like belittle it. I tease it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And in turn, I remove the power from it, and I can deny it. No, I'm not. Fuck you.
Yeah,
I don't have to do what you say.
But here you're seeing a reason why that might not be
it's
such
not
a healthy response to have like brewing all of the time.
It's not every thought is a fucking enemy.
Yeah.
Some thoughts are good thoughts.
Yeah.
And it's literally my subconscious comes back around to, oh, we're gonna work out now? And I'm like, fuck you, no, I don't want to do that.
Right.
It might be uncomfortable just to get off the couch.
And that,
or whatever. Like
that, like, those, like, endorphins that come through, that good feeling or whatever, could be a result of, like, yes, Mitchell, you are not listening to schizophrenia right now. Is that kind of what it is?
Yeah, I'm not, that's what it seems like, because it's not like it comes in the voice that I'm accustomed to hearing when I was dealing with that. It's literally just me, and when I realized that the whole time it was just me, it really, like, I was just not giving myself any slack. I don't know, it's just weird. Like, I just wasn't defending myself to start. Yeah. And so it just like there was like some sort of psychotic break or whatever, along with being sick and getting an allergic reaction resulting in schizophrenia for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was trying to do. Like, I know that it's like, is my brain trying to be smarter than me and help me, or was I trying to just devalue my own? I don't know. It's just such a mental knot, man. Like, it really is a weird it's just so weird. Because part of me, and that's another part of me that's really like, I feel like I shouldn't talk about my past time, just because it was only for 6 months, and it was because of an allergic reaction, and there's all these, but it was only this.
Right.
And like, was it really all that bad? And here I am at 30 almost, still thinking about it. So yeah,
yes.
it was a pivotal fucking on top of everything else.
Well, I mean, fuck, man, getting cheated on is a second. You know, it can be just like the actual event of it can only take 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But
you can, the guilt or the whatever.
Yeah.
Or the pain of looking back on it. Why does this hurt so bad?
Yeah. I mean, like trauma from getting fucking mugged or beaten or whatever. It's not about the time. It is instead about the impact. But you know that, of course.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm finally, like I'm saying the other time, I'm finally feeling better about. I'm finally I'm not like 100% over it, because sometimes little things will come up and I get this suck wind feeling whenever I think I see my ex-girlfriend or whatever, because I haven't had to confront it physically.
Yeah.
But the emotional aspect of that is good. I can look back on it. I can evaluate it, and it doesn't hurt anymore.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm losing anymore. And that happened as soon as I let in. I really trusted that me and my girlfriend are in a good place, and that this is what I want. Because for so long I was like, okay, this is just this isn't anything, this is gonna pass. Like, I'm afraid, and the whole time not putting it on myself, like, oh, I'm just afraid to get broken up with. The mental pathway of what it feels like to get broken up with, and from somebody you thought you were going to get married to, is something I understand now.
Yeah.
It's something I felt, and I have fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as soon as I let that go and started just trusting, it really, this weight is going away. I'm really glad that I'm learning to trust again, and like, and believe in love, like I tell everybody
to do.
They should.
Yeah.
Because in that, nothing is wrong or scary or dangerous. There's no danger in love.
Right.
It's just in the absence of it is where the danger is. Where pain is.
Yeah.
And I need to remember that that's not. You shouldn't be so afraid of the end, because it'll end because it needed to.
Yeah.
Or you know, like, you can't, like you say, you can't fuck your dead wife forever.
Yeah.
As much as you love her, and as pretty as she was,
yes,
she's rotten in your mattress.
As much as she meant to you, and as true as she was, man, it's just gonna get stinky after a while.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to just stop this, and then we can start a new one? Or what are we gonna do? Just keep going?
It's easier to just cut it.
Okay.
My mask. Go hug a girlfriend. She needs love. Okay. Well, that was nice. You got yourself a sick-ass banner, dude.
Dude, I'm so stoked on that banner. Send message. Okay, yes. Back to writing? More? Do we have more tasks?
Oh, yeah. No. Oh, yeah. Writing.
The task.
The task at hand.
Mm-hmm. That reminds. So, back to, like, you were talking about exercise, and I started thinking about, like, preaching, basically. So
street preaching exercise.
Yeah, we talked about at some point. I think it was in the context of, like, religion. But a lot of the time when people are trying to, like, induct other people into their way of thinking, it's because it's something that's really positively impacted their lives. Like, have you been saved by Jesus? You know, because that's something that I went through that made me feel whole.
Yeah.
Or whatever the case, or however, whatever positive emotion they felt as a result of that. All they want to do is this shit's closed. All they want to do is expose you to that. They want you
to bring you into the fold.
Exactly.
and help you see the light.
Yes, and
in that way.
And it is very hard to start something like that, some big, super gnarly change like that. But once you begin, it's incredibly rewarding, and it's much easier to continue than it is to start.
Yeah.
And the exact same attitude is found in exercise. Like people that exercise super regularly, they tell everyone that they should exercise. It's so much better for you. You'll feel much better. And while it is so much harder to start, once you begin, all of these like immediate rewards are found post exercise.
Yeah.
Like now, when I go like smash a run or whatever.
Yeah, when you run 7 miles.
Yes, I feel super awesome afterwards.
Yeah, it's not a task. It's something to look forward to.
Exactly. And when I recommend that people go exercise, it's not because I think that they look bad. Because
no, it's like you could feel better.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is something that will help you feel better. Like 100% guaranteed. There's nobody that's exercised. I doubt there's anyone.
I have bunions, Todd.
Exercised a whole bunch, and they're like, I never should have done that.
Yeah.
You know, maybe people that like overwork themselves, but
yeah, people that don't know when to quit.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the same thing for anything. Too much of a good thing is a bad thing. Mm-hmm. You know, that's where you get religious zealots. You get people that refuse to see the other side.
Yeah.
It's, no, there's only one way to feel good, and it's the Lord.
Right, of course. And
anything else is sinful.
There's the pitfall of that. And the same thing is found with exercise, obviously.
Well, you get those gym bros that are all yoked on steroids because they want to feel that much better. And if I'm that much bigger, that means I'm feeling better. They miss, I mean, there is something to be said about adoring the way you look. Like, being like turned on by yourself. I think like that autoerotic vibe is like the vibe of like the gym buff dudes. Like I work out not to feel good but to look good.
Yeah.
Like gym tan laundry Guido style.
Vanity muscles.
I think it's more vanity muscles.
Huge arms, no legs, that kind of.
Yeah, where's leg day? Not on this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting. I don't know if that like equates the same. Is that, I mean, it's still feeling good because you feel that you look good. But it's not about those endorphins, I don't think. Endorphins.
It is instead like
about the vanity.
Outside validation as well.
It's like the pride. It's like prideful working out.
Yeah, ego
workout.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that's like constant in almost everything. I can't think of something off the top of my head that's harder to continue than it is to start. Like maybe a dieting.
Drugs are probably easier to continue
harder
than to stop.
Yeah, definitely to stop. But I feel like most things are like that. Like it's all about showing up and starting.
Yeah, initial momentum.
Yeah,
is needed.
Yeah.
You want to go to like Hopland on Old River?
Sure. Yeah.
Old Man River.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Gonna take me home.
Old River, Old Man River, take me home.
And then we got hit for 10 grand by the person who owns Old Man River.
Yeah, for like, well, I think you can sing like upwards. Yeah, is it 5 seconds?
I
or
think
10
you
seconds?
can sing as much as you want.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can, because it's not. It's
edit, like changing it 20% or whatever.
No, well, yeah, because like you're just it's obviously not the song. It's you singing the song.
I get you, dude. Did you see the front of my car?
No, I didn't look at the shit all over your car.
Fucking laden with shit, man.
I love it.
What? That was one bird.
That was a big ass raven.
That was like 4 pounds of shit. Just.
That's so Raven.
That's so Raven.
Oh. Let's see. Oh, I wanted to talk about cartoons.
Cartoons?
And how they help us figure shit out and grow past certain things.
Whoa, okay.
Like Red Matt was talking about how he saw Ed, and Eddie, and they're talking about where babies come from, and and
he ran to his mom.
running to his mom, and like getting information from that.
Yeah.
I feel like cartoons helped me see the world in a way that was so obscure that it made more sense than like an adult talking to me about it. Like, I don't know, cartoons.
Well, what kind of cartoons were you watching?
Ed, and Eddie, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Billy and Mandy. Like, Billy and Mandy, I think, really helped me get through the idea that death is a scary thing.
Really?
Because here's Mandy just
out
owning death.
Yeah.
To the legitimate, like, they're best friends forever because he lost a limbo game.
Yeah.
like I don't know. it just really, it always made me, like, I don't know. Cartoons, I think, help give kids a sense of control and understanding that, like, it's like, or lessons, at least, from a third-party perspective.
Yeah.
And not from a domineering parent.
Yeah, from the authority. Like,
I feel like
the tyrant.
I feel like cartoons could be a ride in on itself, like
probably. Fuck.
Maybe childhood. That'll wrap up into childhood or something. What are you doing?
Okay.
What are you doing? Just hit the lady on the bike.
I was gonna just hit her, but I don't know. I think I got like 1 month left on the insurance.
Oh, darn.
Playing close calls. Yeah, like what? Like, I don't typically, when it comes to science fiction, I don't feel like I learn a lot.
Really?
I feel like I don't extract a lot of lessons when it comes from just fiction in general. I don't know what that is. I know that a lot of people can read, Of Mice and Men or Avatar even, or whatever the fuck,
and get inspired or think.
I could definitely become inspired and like to, namely to create, but for the most part, I don't extract some hearty lessons from a lot of fiction, and I don't think there's much good fiction that exists that doesn't carry some kind of message, that doesn't carry some kind of theme or something, But anytime that I look back on major emotional growth spurts that I went through, it was never as a result of something that I consumed like that.
Yeah.
It's never.
You're more tangible reality guy. You that's why I think you like being a lumberjack. You go out there, you're fucking learning in the trenches.
Yeah.
You're a hands-on, show me, teach. You like to be shepherded by a like an authoritative figure or like someone with experience.
Yeah.
Because nothing is lost. Like you seem to be the most attentive when you're like working.
Well, that's definitely true. And what's funny is that a lot of people, very few people get to see me in a professional setting.
Yeah, because you're out in the fucking woods.
Exactly. And like Cody, who's known me for an incredibly long time and knows me fairly fucking well, he was listening to this recording that I sent to his fiance because she was like quote unquote interviewing me about this agency that I used to work for.
Yeah.
And he was like just super surprised.
He's like, who's this guy?
Yeah, who's this fucking guy? I've never known this guy. And I think that I kind of like that. There's a little bit of guile. There's a little bit of like endorphins that I collect from having the forbidden knowledge that I can actually get some shit going. But yes, I am definitely like, well, I think it circles back to where I think truth is found. I think that truth comes from the result of somebody working very hard for a long time on one thing. Like, I don't believe that somebody can be a master of multiple subjects. That's just my own belief system. Like,
well, it definitely is harder. You have to put so many hours.
It's 40,000, I think it is, or 20,000 hours. But even so, that person is better at one of those two things, or one of those 8 things, or whatever. And that's where their masterhood is found. And I think that it's because either consciously or subconsciously, they've made that one thing their priority out of all of these things that they're exploring with. And thusly, if that's their priority, that's what they should be teaching. That's what they should be talking about. Because everything else just doesn't have that level of attention from them. And so they shouldn't be in the position to be speaking about it. And this is, in my opinion. And I think that's where truth is found. And some people have some issues with that because they don't want to feel like they can only be the master of one thing.
Yeah.
And I think that you can become an expert in many, many different fields, but master is something that's a little bit more subjective. It requires like context, I'm pretty good at a couple different aspects of my work.
But you're no master?
But I'm no master. And I wouldn't even call myself a master of tree falling. There's so much shit that has to happen before I would ever... but that's my mastery.
Exactly.
That's what I'm good at and always striving toward. It's very frequently my number one
That's what
priority.
You're growing towards.
Yes. And I think that's where truth is found. Like, people that consume and take in everything and then teach it all, it's like they're a tourist. And
you're a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades is a master of none, right? And I have a lot of like bad taste in my mouth for the word tourist because it's oftentimes used as a criticism.
Well, it's a negative connotation.
It is definitely
fucking
is.
tourist.
It's like exact locals only, right?
Yeah.
Like this is somebody who's not here for the right reasons.
Yeah.
This is somebody just trying to live a lot of life, and I
fucking casuals.
Yeah, exactly.
Dirty casual.
People that expect a lot and in my opinion don't put in the time to get there.
Yeah.
Like I operate in the extreme end of the spectrum wherein like you need to fucking earn it. I've been granted opportunities to promote to the next position and decline them before because I've felt like I didn't earn it to myself.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm doing 3 years of this field that I'm in, I can already call myself this echelon of firefighter, right? Like I can say I am this because I've done it a year already.
You've earned the right.
Yes, and in some circles. But regardless, I don't feel like I'm going to be able to do that until I get 3 years. And that's just my
your own
standard.
personal thing. Yeah.
That's my weird understanding of truth and mastery.
Well, and working with the men who have done it for years and years.
Exactly. Like how can somebody call themselves acclaimed when they've been exposed to somebody that has tens of thousands of hours more in that particular field than, the original person in question? Like, how can you...
I feel like pride is a big aspect of that, and it gets in the way of being able to see yourself for where you are and be humble about the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
You're not living on the same... this is another thing we were talking about last night, me and Alan, that, like, the world don't stop because you're in your head.
Yeah.
Like, the reality is happening, and the longer you stay in your stupid little, like, thought process that, like, you can, like, I'm a firefighter.
Right.
And all of a sudden you're under a tree.
Yeah.
Or you're burned.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Or you killed somebody.
Yes. The S was on your chest.
And oh, man, and then you don't even know what to do. Well, it's not my fault.
Yeah.
And you just have to either double down or you let it go through.
Yeah.
And you go, fuck, okay, I'm humbled now.
Yes.
Well, it's like when you drop a tree on yourself a couple months ago.
Exactly.
You go, oh, fuck, I'm not as hot shit as I thought.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm also, like, I think that this can also stem from the fact that I'm really not, like, a very fast learner. It takes me a long time to get a grip on shit. I'm instead just, like, fairly determined. And I think that there's
You got gumption.
One of these does not have any more power than the other. As somebody that's a fast learner might give up sooner if they're unable to master something at their usual expediency,
Yeah.
or whatever negative attribute we can slap on to being a fast learner. Like everything has its pros and cons, and by way of me needing a bunch of time to become an expert at something, I honestly feel like typically more than the people that surround me. Lost. Oh, God damn it.
I love it.
Oh, on the precipice of something profound. But even though I need, so much more time, I feel like I'm doing just fucking fine because
no rush to become an expert.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that correlates very well to me thinking that people kind of need to earn the shit.
Yeah.
I think that's where it comes from because I have some denial about people being able to achieve expert's without having all of these hundreds of hours because I need that.
Totally. Well, you want that. That's
and
what
I want it.
You it's not about becoming a master for you. It's about doing the job and getting the work done. Even when you're a master, are you going to call yourself a master? Probably not. Because that's not who you are. It's not why you came into here.
Yeah.
You see yourself fulfilling a purpose in helping people and saving keeping forests healthy. You're taking on a grand task.
Yeah.
It's not about I have the clout to say what I want.
Yeah.
You should all listen to me.
Put enough perfect trees on the ground to
Bob, my boss, who's a successful, wealthy dude.
Yeah.
he's always working on his house.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, ancient Chinese proverb, man who finish house die.
I like that.
And it's true.
Yeah.
You're never going to be done.
No, yeah.
You're always going to be things on your journey
Human
that
dream
are
task.
you're gonna get to one mountain peak and you're gonna go, fuck, I just hit the start of the mountain range.
Yes.
I have so far to go.
Yeah.
Because I know I can, from up here, it's like when you're climbing the first mountain into firefighting and you go, not like the figurative.
Yes. Okay.
You get up to the mountaintop and you go, fuck, there is so much more to learn here.
Yeah.
This is just one, like, yes, I turned the saw on and I started hitting the tree.
Yeah. I
But-
mean, that it exemplified for me is like completing my first season.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, fuck, now doors, it's not that I'm completed, it's that I've like opened another door. That's all it ever is.
Totally.
It's like next door, next tasks, and like the opportunities that present themselves whenever I get to a certain position. And I think that a lot of people are like that, ideally. But yeah, I think that's probably true. I don't know that I would ever get into the position where I feel like I'm going to be done. And I've always held that I would love to have a house someday and just work on it until I die. And I also think that it's hard to to get moving again once you stop. And I think I kind of believe that like as soon as I slow down, like
when you're not ripping yourself apart to be physically excellent.
Well, probably I'll stop ripping myself apart. But when I get to the position where I'm not working,
Yeah.
I think that it's gonna. I don't know if I'll ever get there. I don't think that's.
I don't
the
think
plan for
you'd
me.
be happy there.
I don't think I would either. I think that I would just instead figure out how to work really, really, really well, really, really efficiently, and then just do it every now and then instead of these fucking gnarly stints that I.
Well, and that's when you go, okay, technically I can be called a master of this. And I don't have the energy to do it as hard as I could do it anymore.
Yeah.
And now the role comes in of the adoptive father.
Yes.
And then you are the one giving the knowledge to those who need it.
Yeah.
And are seeking it out. And you go, okay, you're worthy of hearing this.
Yeah. And
I will bestow this on you.
Yes. That position is always at the back of my mind when I'm making like important career decisions.
Yeah.
Because I imagine it likely stems from the fact that it stems way back. I don't have a dad. I'm sure that's where it comes from. But I like relish at the thought of assuming that role for somebody in the future.
Yeah.
And anytime that I'm making some important progress, either in like mental and behavioral health or in my technical skills, I often put it in the context of trying to translate it to somebody else because I want to be able to do that. And I want to do that for someone someday.
Totally.
That's always like, that's the priority.
That is the problem, because that's where education is lacking, is in the you give a fuck. You're the teacher.
Yeah.
You give a fuck. I'm giving this to you because I respect it and appreciate it and I live it.
Yeah.
So here it is.
Yeah.
Not if you turn to page 4, you'll see
back at fucking
that.
bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. It's you're excited.
Yeah.
And you want it.
Yeah.
And you're gonna attract the people that are excited and want it.
Yes.
And give it.
I get fucking upset when the tourist is the teacher. That's like my weird shit that
of course it is annoying for you.
But it's so like
no, it should be, because
so
you're like, why the
frustrating.
fuch are you here?
Yeah,
you're not doing a good job. You can't do a good job.
What are your priorities? You have lived for you, man. Like you've lived for like experiences and patches that you can throw on your fucking backpack.
Yep.
You aren't here like to
give.
Even though I'm only planning to be with this crew for 3 years,
Yeah.
I'm here for the fucking crew.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm making decisions based on like why I chose to get that vaccination when the fucking freezers broke down and I had some weird reservations about it was because I felt like it would positively impact the crew. I felt like it would increase our versatility and mobility if we have more vaccinated people than less vaccinated people.
Jump
and
on
I was pretty scared of it because who knows? I was
exactly.
like, hey man, I'm in the first round of fucking people here.
Yep.
I was a little intimidated by it,
Of
but
course.
nonetheless, I did it, and
you're okay.
it's a lot of shit like that.
Yeah.
I fucking hate exercising. I still like, even though I'm pretty fit and I do feel good after I do it. It's not my thing, and a lot of people on the crew, it's their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they love to exercise. We can be in the same physical shape, and they look forward to it and derive more from it.
Yeah.
Than I do. But regardless, I do it because I don't want. It's not that I don't want to let anyone down for my ego's sake. It's that I don't want to negatively impact the crew.
Well, you're a part of a machine.
Exactly.
You're not just one guy.
Yes. And the tourist doesn't see that, in my opinion. They fucking, instead, they try to get as fit as they can so that they can promote to the next position, make a little bit more money, and, you know.
Yeah.
This, that, and the other.
I mean, as simple as working at a pizza place.
Yeah.
There's tourists there too.
Of course, and everywhere.
There's tourists everywhere that just are out for themselves, that are gonna do the sloppiest, slowest fucking job.
Yeah.
And you go, bro, come on, you fucking know better. You've been here for fucking years.
Yeah.
And they go, yeah, well, fucking fire me then.
Yeah, it's a pizza place.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you've, and that's another thing I learned from the pizza place, is it doesn't matter what the fuck you're making. It's all about, like, hourly or whatever. It's about doing the fucking best you can.
Yes.
And if you don't want to be there, don't fucking be there.
Yes.
Because the business is now suffering because you don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And everyone's mad at you.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you're wasting our energy and yours.
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck out of here. I don't. And when a new, and that's where the tourist starts negatively influencing all of the other new guys that might give a fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, and bringing the whole machine down.
It's like one dude's on his phone, and the new guy's like, oh, it's okay to be on our phone. Now we're all on our phones, and it's like, hey, we still got a half an hour.
Yeah.
Let's fucking, do you guys want to be here 15 minutes after?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that you'd rather be on your phone in your car.
Yes.
Like, fucking just see where we are.
Yeah.
Work as a unit.
Yes.
And if you don't want to be a part of that unit, I'm sorry, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
I don't have time for you.
For real, dude.
The energy behind, like, oh, just fire me then, is such a fucking bullshit. It's like, so you know.
Yeah.
Oh, so you know.
Oh, so you know you're being a fucking bag of shit.
Get the fuck out of here, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh, that's the worst shit ever,
It
man.
pisses me off, and it's like, and the business is like, well, we don't have enough employees, we can't fire you. Especially like now in this sensitive COVID time.
Oh, yeah.
Where people are still trying to maintain, like, well, if I just apply to jobs, I can still get unemployment.
Right.
And they're riding that, like, I don't want to go back to work, fuck that.
Yeah.
And you get all these bullshit employees.
Yeah. Yeah, I fucking hear that, dude.
And the business is just suffering because you don't, no one cares.
Yeah.
But the owner has to care. The owner lives it every day and is you're just putting more weight on a person that was trying to do the good thing and give you a job.
People have to pick up your fucking slack.
If your boss isn't mean to you, don't disrespect your boss.
Yeah.
And if they're mean to you, examine why that might be.
Yes.
Is it because you're a fucking loser?
Yeah. A lot of people, especially in my line of work as well, they will mistake, like, kindness and some sympathy and a little bit of, like, leeway as weakness, and thusly, like, just make some really shitty, selfish decisions. And that's no fucking bueno.
It isn't.
And also, there's another thing that I run into is the, like, fast learning tourist. So these people that, even though they perform pretty well, they're
hip to the jargon.
Yeah, and this might be my own shit. This might be like some
coyote
jealousy.
scat.
This might be some coyote scat. Some jealousy over like some jealousy because they are able to pick shit up so well and they promote so quickly when I've been putting in all this time. Even if I don't necessarily want to promote, I'm still like somebody's getting ahead of me. But then they leave, like, you know.
Yeah, they
2 months later, like they come in.
They're good at it.
They use something as a stepping stone, or they hit that milestone and then they fucking bail. Yeah. And I'm like, what did you? It's so frustrating.
Well, is it better for them to bail, or do they stay and resent it if they don't want it?
All I think about is the people that have been there for a long time and you know, they don't have the luxury of being a very fast learner, whether it's me or not. Like, a lot of the times it's somebody else, somebody who's thrown in more years than I have, that really deserved that position and really needed to get in there and was now in the position of believing that they deserved to get in there and wanted to be there.
Yeah.
And instead get sideswiped by this fucking new, blonde, pretty little motherfucker that comes in. I don't even this isn't even, it's not even the person that I know, but
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this pretty little young
archetype
fucker,
of
yes,
like
who comes in,
the FNG,
they're
who
all
steals
fit,
it away.
and they're like relatively kind, and then they get in and promote, and then they leave. And it's like, why the fuck, man? Like, why were you here? You clearly weren't here for everyone else.
Yeah.
You're here
as a stepping stone.
Even though you're good at what you do, you are here for yourself. And I feel like that's not compassionate. That's not kindness. That's not love. It's kind of selfish, even if you do a good job. And it's very hard to argue, because if they leave good product behind them, a lot of the times that's what will ultimately matter in the majority of industries. And there's just a select few where somebody can be criticized for their heart not being in the right place, even if they get the fucking job done. We should go
to the right of that gas station and then up the road that goes this way.
Okay, I'm down.
But yeah, dude, no, I feel that. It's like, what are you trying to achieve?
Yeah.
But then if you give if you were to talk to that person, I'm sure they'd have a good example of why. You know, it's all in the things left unspoken. You can't give it that much energy because they're gone now and it's fine.
But just like, somebody got stepped on so that they could get ahead. You know?
Yeah, but look at it in the way of, now, is that person that got stepped on gonna let that ruin their career?
They did.
But that's not that guy's fault for coming in and doing that.
It's true, but there's so much that many people
self-esteem pegged.
Yeah, there's so many decisions that somebody could have made in that scenario that would have left all of the systems in a better place.
Totally.
Like, if that guy that got stepped on and decided to quit, this actually happened.
Yes.
If he stuck around, the crew would have a fantastic role model.
Yeah.
Would have some better overhead and some better leadership and more generally like total years of fire in the crew.
Yeah.
Instead, this fucking blonde guy
jumps in and jumps out.
Gets his shit and jumps out.
Treating him like a fucking Goomba.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, Mario comes in and steps on the Goomba who was going to get the promotion.
Yeah, man. Over the course of 2 years, while this other guy had been on this crew for 7 fucking years.
Yeah.
How could you not get burnt out by that? And people will just get left by the wayside because somebody that's all shiny and new and is a real quick learner gets to come in and jump the position. Oh, you can tell I have so many fucking emotions.
Is that because that guy is saying, I want this, I'm going to get this, and the other guy's like, they're going to see my good work and they're going to promote me?
That's what it is.
That's not how the world works.
Well,
but just to accept reality as it is. If you want the position, you got to ask for it. And if the other guy comes in all shiny and new and full of piss and vinegar, I'm ready to take this position.
Well, I think that it's
a little bit of both.
It is a little bit of both. Like, ideally, that guy that I wanted to fill the position could have been a better advocate for himself.
Exactly.
And the overhead that filled that position would have seen that guy had more years and deserved that position more, whatever. There's a lot of people fucking up in order to make that happen.
Yeah, and then who's the fucking higher-ups that go, yeah, we hired that guy instead of the guy we know?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I can understand the guy with the most experience getting really disheartened and not wanting to do it anymore.
Yeah.
But when that new guy left, he should have been like, you know what? I've really wanted this position for a long time, and I want to make a difference in my crew. And I'm sure they would have fucking turned right around and be like, hey man, okay, you're up for we're looking at you now.
He was already gone though. Like he was already out of the woodwork.
It was too much.
Yeah, like the guy filled the position. The new guy, the shiny guy, filled the position. The OG left after a year of that guy being in the position, and then the new shiny guy left.
Yeah.
And so, like, the OG was right, you know? Like, this guy's a fucking tourist, and I said up front when I was first joining, I was like, look, I don't want to take some opportunity away from somebody else that's planning on being here for a long time. Like,
totally.
I don't want to take the
quick route
promotion. I don't want to pull the rug out from anybody else because I'm not going to be here for forever.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, that's fine. And a lot of people don't work like that. I get that this could very well be our one true precious life, and in that respect, you do got to advocate for yourself. You got to live a little selfishly, you know. Like, in many ways, I'm number one, right? That's kind of how it should be. And then you alter your reward system so that you feel like you are rewarded when you positively impact other people's lives.
Totally.
That's kind of how I navigate that shit. But regardless, I don't think that you should ever be taking opportunities away from other people like that if that's all it is to you.
Yeah, if you're just stomping Goombas, if you think you're Mario stomping Goombas and you're getting wins every time you cut in front of somebody else, you know, everything is relative. Goombas aren't bad. Mario's the guy killing everybody.
Yeah.
You know, like in that sense, he was.
Mm-hmm.
Like he really disheartened a man to the point where he had to leave.
Yeah.
But that's where I gotta step in and go, you know what? But that guy that was
dude
there,
he
knew he was the right guy.
Yeah.
I'm down to turn around whenever you are.
Yeah, I'm turning around.
But
it's pretty.
You can't let it get you that down to the point where now there isn't that experience from the new guy with piss and vinegar or the guy with experience.
Yeah.
They're both gone.
Yeah.
And if that guy was like, this guy's a fucking tourist, well, then he knows he's not going to be around forever.
Yeah.
And in that moment, he could have gone, you know what? Let's fucking put the word in. I'm going to put the bug in somebody's ear that I want this job.
Yeah.
That I'm the right fit.
Well,
I believe in myself.
He definitely had said that before. Like,
well, then fuck.
Just to fucking...
to get that out there.
Get the context provided in case that guy's ever listening to this, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he definitely said that he wanted that leadership role, and he was also on track to get there before. And then he just got totally fucking...
derailed.
Yeah, sideswiped. And that's such a shame, man.
That is a shame. Like, I don't respect when people fucking do that.
Yeah, me neither.
And, I mean, and it sucks because it's not necessarily Piss and Vinegar's fault.
Yeah.
It's the higher-up's fault.
Yeah.
What are they thinking?
It's true.
Why is that guy a better choice?
Yeah, well, just fucking Piss and Vinegar was so good at talking, and he was so good at running, that they didn't know what to fucking do. Like, it was shock and awe. They weren't exposed to people that could run and talk that good before, so they wanted
here he is.
Desperately to keep him, and so they tried to sweeten the pot for him, and
I mean, it didn't work anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So how much, I mean, I don't know. I don't even, I can't argue with someone that doesn't blame Piss and Vinegar because shit just got handed to him, you know? And why wouldn't you take shit that's handed to you at some point?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you think, oh, fuck yeah, thank you.
Yeah, right.
I am that great, huh?
Yeah.
And it really is all in the, I don't know Piss and Vinegar, so I can't rate his
right, of course.
His eligibility for a thing.
Yeah.
It's just, sometimes that's just fucking how it goes.
Yeah.
And it's really frustrating.
Yeah.
Well, that's like when I was working at the print shop, and all of a sudden here comes the boss's son, and he gets my job.
Yeah.
And I'm all disheartened, and I'm not. Can you pull over? I gotta pee.
Yeah.
He gets my job that I was told that, like, man, you're really good at this. Like you're gonna excel in this field if we keep you. Yes. And then a year later, the business goes away, and those people aren't there to see it.
Yeah.
This house is fucking dope. This is my first, the girl I dated for 3 years when I was a kid. Oh, yeah? This is their whole zone. They have a fucking awesome pool spot, like, dude, basement with a fucking wine cellar.
Dude, this place is incredibly beautiful, and there's lots of things that I really like about living in Mendocino County, but I'm never going to get that.
That's why you put that parameter on yourself. You could totally get that.
I definitely don't want to speak that into existence.
Do you want that?
I do.
Like, and is that because you grew up in a truck? Or is that because, or you came from humble beginnings? You didn't grow up in a truck, but like, you know what I mean? or whatever. You grew up in a truck.
Yeah.
And do you think that is where happiness lies? Or like success lies? Is where you have a big ass house and it feels really good?
No. I don't think so, because I feel very successful right now.
Well, that's good.
I just have like a 2-bedroom apartment. But I just would love
a nice big house.
Yeah, I love that.
With amenities.
What I want is property. I mean, I don't fucking, like, it could be, it could be the same apartment, the same floor plan that I have now, but having a yard and the freedom to do whatever the fuck I wanted to do with it sounds like I've won.
Totally. Well, dude, that's the whole thing, and that is obtainable, because like that's my plan, fucking buy a little plot with in a secluded spot up Tom Kai or something.
Dude, do you think you'll be able to afford that someday?
Yeah, because I'm doing what I want. I'm doing what I love, and I have what I understand is infinite work. Like, I'm doing landscaping, it's infinite, and I just want to get a couple fucking homies to get on board, and we just fucking make shit better and charge a good amount and do a good job. Like I feel, and in doing that, you get to be close to the people who own land, who go, you know what, I do have an acre space.
Right,
I do have this that is attainable.
Yeah, network.
Dude, like, networking is such, like, take it from a guy that's all I do is like, I have a nice shit-eating grin. I'm not trying to manipulate anybody.
Right.
But just in being a forward, happy, personable guy, I get all kinds of opportunities to do my best work other places.
Yeah.
And like this landscaping job I'm doing right now, I'm only charging $20 an hour because I respect and appreciate the people that I'm doing it for. But in doing it and looking at the job that I'm doing now, I could charge $35 an hour, no problem.
Totally could.
Like, dude, I know I do a good job. I have a good eye, and I have a great work ethic.
Yeah.
I want it.
Yeah.
And I wanna make people's fucking property safe.
Yeah.
So that they can enjoy their fucking wins.
Yeah, without having a bunch of like fucking, oh god, I hope this doesn't happen.
Well, because in keeping a property safe already, it's the only house on the fucking road that didn't burn down when the fire came through. And I'm responsible for that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the guy who hired me is ultimately responsible.
But regardless.
But he wanted me to do it.
Yeah.
Because he knew I'd do a good job.
Yeah.
And consequently, his house is fine. And it makes me proud.
Yeah.
To be able to provide that and just do what I want to do and make a good living off of it.
Yeah.
And wanting to bring people into it. Be like, hey, if I got 4 guys together, we could fucking be making some good money and working with good people on jobs that we want.
Yeah.
Like, get a guy for everything. Like, someone to cut fucking big ass trees down.
Right.
Someone to climb. Somebody to do the fucking groundwork. A fucking mechanic guy, whatever, operator, equipment operator.
Yeah.
And we can bust out epic jobs and make a good amount, and buy those little pieces of property that we want.
Right.
And put a fucking yurt on it and expand off of it. Like, like, I'm so excited for the next 5 years now that I know what I want.
Well, tell you what, man, you got me for the winter, man. You got me. Whatever you want.
Good. Let's fucking go.
I got no major plans for the winter. I keep bumping around. Maybe I'll go to school. Maybe I'll do a course. Maybe I'll do this and that. And but no.
Let's fucking go. It's so funny. Like, because you're your own boss. Yeah. Do you want to charge however much you want to charge? It's your fucking life.
Yeah.
And people will pay.
Yeah.
As the whole people will pay you.
Hey, I find that like typically people don't know what the going rate for shit is, and that can work in or against your favor. You know?
Well, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do this for $20 an hour.
Yeah.
And I'm going to Las Vegas, and my customer is
Yes.
like, hey, guess what? Here's $500.
Hey.
Fuck
nice.
yeah!
Fuck
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, awesome.
That's
Like,
fucking bitching.
and that's the whole thing. You choose who you work for,
Yeah.
and you know that they're not going to shiest you,
Mm.
and they know you're not going to shiest them.
Yeah.
It's good rapport is so important, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and in like growing into this person, I'm really trying to like grow. Like honestly, like
Yes.
putting conscious effort into
Yes.
getting better and being better.
Me too, man.
Like it's you have to.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of making the mistakes,
Me too.
and seeing the pattern and not
Oh, me
fucking
too.
taking and not looking at it like
Yeah.
it's not gonna happen again.
Yes.
It's like, oh, I've seen you before. Come on in.
Yeah, great. Oh yeah, round 2.
Yep.
I'm a fucking asshole again.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Boop, boop. Yeah, I love that. I
Yeah.
run on that.
Fucking God. Yeah, I'm so sick of that shit, man.
Yep. Can't be doing that.
And I find that like it's always the active experience, you know, like never through being passive will we become better. Like I feel like, at least for me, my experience is 10 times out of 10, if I take the more passive route, I end up in the void. I end up in darkness.
Yeah.
I end up in this state of being an asshole. And it takes the work. It takes very active growth
It
to
does.
become who you want to be.
It doesn't just happen.
It doesn't. It never fucking happens. You can't. And I feel like it's also never as simple as, well, I'm going to be a good dude now. You know,
Yeah.
like in some respects, it is if you already have all of the tools behind you, and you know exactly what a good dude looks like. But I don't think it's that easy. I don't think we just get to be like, I'm good now.
No, because it's not up to you to decide that.
Yeah, and if you otherwise, if it was that easy, you would have been good already.
Yeah.
Like if it was just flipping a switch, then why didn't we flip the switch years ago? You know, I think it's instead that we didn't have either the exposure to or access
or the
to
desire to
or the desire.
You can have all the fucking tools, but you got to fucking pick them up and use them.
Yeah, exactly. And if it takes a like relatively tragic event wherein we're very hurt or we really hurt somebody, then sometimes that's what it fucking takes. I think
definitely.
Typically that's what it fucking takes
It does.
to make those important changes, and it's
Well, why
very
else would you
active.
want to change?
Yeah.
You know, you go, fuck, that hurts.
Yes.
Fire is hot, and I'm going to use pot holders from now
Yes,
on.
I do not want to be digging around in fire anymore.
You know, and some things are harder to understand.
Yeah.
You know, okay, like, oh, what do you mean if I hold this ice cube as hard as I can, it's gonna fucking sting really bad?
Yeah.
It'll burn me. Like, you
Yeah.
don't know those things.
Yeah.
Like, it's just learning how to fucking how to be in the world.
Yeah.
Like, and problems are problems, no matter how fucking small.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, you can, but just don't attach yourself to them.
Yeah.
You're not your problems. The problem, you're choosing to keep them most of the time.
Yeah.
It's like the unfortunate thing where it's like some people have shitty families, and
Yeah.
you it's not your responsibility to take on everything all the time. Like, they have to be accountable.
Yes.
If you're being accountable for your entire family, you're never going to be able to be accountable for yourself too.
For real.
I mean, or like that's all you're going to do is just be accountable for your family. Like,
Yeah.
your own identity doesn't exist
Yeah.
because you're giving it all away,
Yeah.
and the world doesn't get you.
Oh,
You get your family. And that's all, and they don't change. You know, you can't pick up everyone's slack all the fucking time.
Yeah.
You gotta let people twist in the wind and feel discomfort.
Yeah.
And that was a hard lesson for me to learn, because I love taking care of people.
Yeah.
I like making things comfortable without having to be told that they're comfortable. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I wanna take care of the problem.
Yeah.
So before
Preventative.
like, what is that? It's not hovering, it's bulldozing.
Mm.
You know, I'm not waiting around over your shoulder.
Yeah.
I'm 100 yards in front of you, and you go,
Yeah.
man, what a beautiful experience. And I go, oh, yeah, that
Yeah,
was,
it sure
wasn't
was.
it?
So organic, so
Yeah,
natural.
That was, wow.
And you're up there building mountains
What
and
a
scenery for them to see.
What a flawless day.
Yeah.
It wasn't a flawless day for me, I'll tell
So
you right
full
now.
of flaws. I worked my ass off to make that so easy for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do find it's, well, something that is funny. When I was becoming a bee faller, that's what I am, right? So there's 3 different levels to being a tree faller. There's A, B, and C, or 3, 2, 1, depending on whatever. But anyway, I'm in the middle. I'm intermediate, like journeyman or whatever. And when I was going through this task book to get that completed, I was being taught how to teach people to fall trees. And what the most important piece of advice that my instructor gave me, is a fucking great dude. His name is Chad Cleland. If you're out there, thank you very much. He told me, like, look, you must let people make mistakes. Like, don't hover. Don't stop them every time they're about to fuck up. Instead, only get involved if something's looking dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, get involved if somebody's about to hurt themselves or somebody else. But otherwise, let this person, totally botch this cut.
Yep.
Because otherwise, they're not going to see what their standards are, what their pattern is, and they don't know how to affect and change it. And that translates very well into whatever lesson people are trying to pick up.
Oh, definitely.
You can fucking tell people where to look, but you can't tell them what to see.
Yeah. No, well, you build your value system.
Yeah.
In that particular thing, like, I mean, as simple as making pizza.
Mm-hmm.
I go, okay, like, there's a 16-year-old kid I was training yesterday, and he's got his hand, he's using one hand. I'm all, hey man, like, I see that for the last 5 pizzas you've just used one hand. Like, you gotta just keep trying to use 2 hands. And after that, he got a little faster.
Right.
And then I see him trying to, like, put the pepperoni on, but he's got his hands like a foot or 2 over the, he's got his hands up by his chest, and he's trying to, he's grabbing a pepperoni and putting it all the way down. I'm like, hey man, keep your hands right above the pizza, so you don't have to. Look how much time this takes. Pick it up and put it down, and pick it up. No, it's like deal it, like you're dealing cards.
Right.
Like, put your hands low instead of it's just less time. And he's like, oh, thank you. Like, I thank you.
Yeah.
And you gotta be able to observe as the person with the experience, like your guy teaching you was.
Yeah.
You as the evaluator need to see what their problem is too.
Yeah.
And what their pattern is. Like, it's they need it and you need it.
Yeah.
And in teaching, you realize, oh man, look what I've been doing. And it's good both ways. Like there's a parallel to the master learning from the student.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, dude. Or the master learning from the master, like, in teaching, by way of teaching. There's a lot of important tools that I've picked up by trying to figure out how to translate what I'm doing to somebody else.
Totally.
Like, oh shit, maybe this actually is important. Like, oh, that's how I keep the bar flat. Oh, that's how I do this.
Yeah.
But by way of trying to translate it, I figure out what I'm fucking doing.
You actually, like, ingrain it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, okay, I got to keep my bar flat. I go, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly.
This is my process.
Yeah. And then you become aware of your process.
Yeah.
And, like, maybe there are some faults in that can be addressed and manipulated, and that can help you become a more efficient machine.
Well, and in that, you see the guys that are like you were saying, like the naturally skilled people.
Right.
And you go, oh man, like, you don't know what you're doing, but you're doing it great. Like, I got, like, and it feels good to be able to tell people that too.
Yeah.
Like, don't let your own ego be like, this fucking guy, he's so good right off the bat.
Yeah.
This took me 2 years.
Yes.
It's like, fuck yeah, that is one less thing you're gonna have to do.
That's funny. I think that it's a result of this, like, growth that I'm going through right now, but I ran into exactly that just this last week. That I'm on a saw team, and my partner was giving, like, better cuts than I was, like, hand over fist. All of the trees, I mean, there were only a couple, I shouldn't exaggerate, but
either way,
we both felled 2 trees, and his cuts looked so much better than mine. And instead of being like, there was a moment where I wanted to be like, fuck, but, like, look at that, digest that, and I was able to turn it into what I wanted, how I wanted to react, and it turned into something. It was genuine. Like, I was like, dude, you fucking smashed that shit. Like, that looks so fucking good.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm looking at what you're doing here and trying to, like, incorporate some of those tools in my back pocket. And by way of not making it super competitive, by way of not wanting to show him up in some other avenue, I was able to express my technical proficiency later on, like when we were bucking and limbing, and because I didn't have that icky weight of like I gotta be better than this guy on my shoulders, I just got
mental challenge.
Yeah, I just got to be good, and by like allowing myself to feel that freedom and comfort, I like welcomed him into my space and my tactics, and he watched me buck and cut and like asked me some questions, and I showed him some ways that he could be better at bucking and cutting, instead of being like, oh, thank God I'm better at him than this, you know?
Yeah, because it's not about that, because ultimately you're playing the same game. Yeah. You're on the same team.
Yeah.
It's not
really on the same team. He's my fucking saw partner.
Well, I learned this lesson in a much more whimsical way, and it's me and my dad have played frisbee golf my whole life. Yeah. Like, I was out there on his back while he's throwing discs when I was a baby.
Oh, that's sweet.
Like, and that's like our thing that we get to do together. Yeah. And when I started getting like going through puberty, and I was getting like angsty, and I'm trying to throw and like trying to like, I was stronger, and I noticed it, and I'm like, okay, I'm throwing stronger now. Yeah. And in that, I was putting too much power and like fucking up the disc, and it fucking shank and fly weird, and I'm trying too hard and getting frustrated, and I'm like, you're beating me all the time. When am I ever gonna beat you? Yeah. And he's like, just chill out. Yeah. It's not about winning. Yeah. We're having fun. Yeah. You're not even playing me. You're playing yourself. Mm-hmm. And that's all it is you're just trying to do better than you did last time. Yep. And it's okay if you didn't do better, because at the same time, we're just playing a game. Yeah. There's no consequences to losing. Yeah. We didn't sign up for a tournament. Yeah. And even if we did, we're still just having fun. Yeah. You're out there drinking beer and hanging out with the guys.
It's what it needs to be.
Yeah. And it's ever since because mentally I was doing that thing you're talking about, where it's like, oh, I got to be better than you. Yeah, You're the guy to beat. Yes. And in my head, I'm not verbally challenging you, but I'm watching you, and I'm putting myself to your standard.
Exactly. That's the weird thing, is that it's not like
I
need to be better than him. It's that you are my current standard.
You're
for myself.
You're my Gary, and I'm Ash Ketchum right now.
Oh yeah. Like,
you're my rival in my head.
Yeah, and it's weirdly still like a self-criticism.
It is.
It's still like competitive with self. It's just that they're the example of where you want yourself to be. Yeah. It's not like defeating this person is what's going to grant the endorphins. No, it's instead becoming good enough to defeat this person.
Yeah. Without having to say a word.
Yeah.
Because you don't want them to try to fucking give extra effort. Oh yeah. Because it's not about them trying their hardest. It's about them being naturally good at it, and you go, man, that's fucking sick. I want to be able to do that. How do I do that? I'm going to watch you, and I'm going to learn from you. Yeah. I desire this, and you have the gold. Where is it? Yeah. And it'll frustrate you if you're always trying to do that. Yeah. And maybe if you just go, hey man, good cut. They'll go, oh yeah, like I see you're struggling with this a little bit. You want me to show you? And you go, oh man. Whoa. Like in just being humble. Yeah. And letting your guard down and not expect, because if your self-talk gets negative, you put it in their voice in your head. You know, like and
then it becomes, I hate you.
And then it's like, you fucking loser. Why aren't you this fast? In reality, that's all just in your head, and they're just doing their job because they're good at it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you go, okay, like, let me just reassess this. You're just working. I'm the only one challenging this. It's so funny, and I'm getting better at not. And frisbee golf, that's such the funniest thing, has helped me really with that, because it's about me challenging myself and not about me challenging anybody else. Yeah. And some days you're 7 under, and it's the best game you get, and every other day you're 2 over. And you get to really see that sometimes people are just having a good day. Yeah. You can't judge somebody on their best day. There's that's true. In the movie Schindler's List, there's a really good scene where there's all the there's like the Nazis have all these Jewish people in like a I think he's making door hinges, and his baskets. You know, the Nazi guy comes up and sees he's got like, you know, 20 hinges in the basket or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's all, show me how fast you make hinges. And the Jewish guy turns his hat around and he fucking cranks it out in like 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. And the officer pulls him to the side and he goes, then why is your basket only half full if you're this good? Oh. And he drags him outside and he tries to shoot him in the head. But his gun jams. And then his gun jams, and then his gun jams, and he ends up just throwing it on the ground, and the guy lives.
Oh, fuck me.
And in that scene, I was like, oh yeah, like, you can always put a bunch, you can give 110%, but you're not going to do it all the time, and it's okay not to do it all the time. I think it's just a good scene. I just remember that scene so well. And I used that scene on myself. I'm like, okay, am I going to treat myself like this fucking officer and beat the shit out of myself for not doing doing an amount that I wouldn't be able to uphold all the time. I can't give 110% all the time. Yeah. Because I'll wear myself out. Yeah. And I'll give 70% the rest of my time. Yeah. Or in giving 110% of my time, I'm tired and I cut my leg. Yeah. And now I can't work. Yeah. Or I'm trying to dice shit really fast at work. There goes my fucking thumb. Yeah. And now it's hard to fucking play video games. Yeah. Or cut. or do anything. Yeah. You know, like, oh, now I've fucking handicapped myself forever. Yeah. Because I did a stupid thing. Yeah. I mean, we talked about that a little bit in some other episode, but the guy who works, you know, an hour in the gym every single day has more hours in the gym than the guy who does 3 hours 2 days a week and he's all sore when he gets back and he can't do anything. Yeah. You know, like it's not about fucking blowing yourself to shit. It's not. It's just do what's sustainable. Yeah. You don't gotta fucking run yourself into the ground to prove a point to be better than that person is one day. Exactly. Out of the 5, you gotta come to work. Yeah. And he's kicking your ass even more. And then you're even more down on yourself. Yeah. It's not about that. It's about doing your best at your pace. Yeah. And seeing where you can get yourself some improvement. Yeah. It's like you're playing Mario Kart and you're racing your ghost. And you're trying to take a little bit of time off. You go, okay, how are they going faster than me? I need to figure this out. Yeah. And you go, oh, there's a space here. If I just drift around this corner, I'll shave a second off my time. And in training with yourself, you figure it out. And because ultimately that's all anybody wants to do is prove to themselves that they're the best. Yeah. Or they're good, or they're worthy. Better. That there's progression. Yeah. For sure. And I think that's with the current social climate, the echo chambers just get harder to get out of that. Yeah. To see that you're improving or not improving or whatever, because you just care about what you care about and you don't let anybody's feedback in. You're not evaluating yourself. You're just on this pet. I mean, I guess other people are commenting on your shit, and you're not ever getting that self-evaluation that you're doing it, you're dance monkeying instead of potentially. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Like, it just, I maybe that's why people are so stuck in their viewpoints, is because they're not putting them out there and they're getting, you know, I don't know, tangent. Backpedal.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It's just silly. You can't take yourself. It's all just taking yourself too seriously.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Because you will be good enough if you try. You can only do as good as you know. You can't expect to get a fucking 30-10 KD on Battlefield every round. Yeah. Because it's not gonna happen. Yeah. Like, you just gotta do the best you can with what you got. Yeah. And be humble about it.
I think that, like, what you put into it is what you get out of it is often misconstrued. I think that people believe that means, like, if I put one in, I get one out. You know, like, if I work really hard, I will be paid very well. I think that that's usually people's understanding of that phrasing. But to me, instead it means you get something out of putting stuff in. Like, the act of putting in the work becomes very rewarding.
Yeah.
Rather than you will get a reward if you put in the work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's been times where I will do something and I know that it's not going to get recognized by anybody. Like, just the other day, we were just cleaning rigs, and we borrowed this truck from from the forest that to use as a chase truck for the whole week. And I like cleaned the fuck out of it. I just like dumped all of this shit on the floor, and I'm sure the floorboards hadn't been cleaned in years, and all of this different fucking chemicals all over the car, and I 100% didn't need to do that. And I'm not trying to fucking stroke my own chain here, but I did. I put in the extra effort, and no one's gonna say good job for that. But
it feels good.
But it felt good to do, and try to find those times. Like, try to access feeling good about what you just did,
totally,
rather than expectation of a reward or of a kudos or whatever. And that's where we can find that like proud, stoic confidence, because we believe in ourselves and our own abilities and our own feats. Rather than constantly trying to find validation outside of ourselves.
Totally. No, I agree.
Yeah.
That ain't Coyote Scat.
That ain't Coyote Scat, man. And it can be really hard to get there, especially if it's new. If it's a new concept to folks. Like, if you're somebody that's used to being paid for the shit that you do, you know?
Or you grew up in a home that you had to be perfect all the time.
That too, yeah.
You know, like, practice perfect is all those kids that go to Yale.
Yeah.
And are all the kids that get moved up a grade.
Yeah.
And have all these expectations.
Yeah. If you practice perfect, the perfect will never come. Like, there's no such thing as a great day, because every day needs to be great.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and then your kid's on fucking on Adderall because they can't
They
deal.
need to perform.
Yeah.
And that ties back pretty well to social media. This is a point that I wanted to make, but I forgot, is that I think it's bred us to be this generation that's built to perform.
Oh, definitely.
Like, it's chasing these likes, and it's picking the right picture out of the 6 pictures that you took,
editing.
and then editing it as well before you throw it up.
I have to look my best all the time.
Yeah, look happy so that other people believe that I'm happy and I'm a more attractive person or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Well, I saw a meme really helped me with that, or a little story panel thing, and it was Leonardo da Vinci, and he's like, after 13 or however many 7 long years, I finally produced the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
And then it switches over to a modern Instagram artist, and it's like, oh fuck, I did this today, I gotta do this tomorrow, and they all have to be masterpieces.
Oh yeah.
I have to produce grand works
Yes.
every day.
Yeah, yeah. And I know that's the standard for a lot of like artists.
That
on
fucking
Instagram.
ain't sustainable.
Yeah, it's totally not.
But you lose 50 followers in between art if you're not keeping current.
Yeah.
And so you go, fuck, okay, well that's how I get paid.
Yeah, right.
I gotta eat. I gotta make sure I have the biggest audience I got, or I can. Gotta perform.
And I think that carries over because we got a hold of social media so young. It's kind of a part of our DNA now.
Yeah.
I think that it carries over to most walks of life. Like, must perform, must be best.
Well, and
I think it translates pretty well into. I think tourists are like the common place of these tourist characters that we're talking about is also kind of a result of that. I do not have a lot of time right now.
Oh, what are you doing?
I'm so sorry.
What do you got going on?
I have to fucking go get Esther, and then I told her that I was gonna we would get euros, and I said that at 2:30. So
Aha!
I have to.
You gotta
go
skeet that.
Yeah, I gotta call her and shit. But do you want to do some editing? You want to try to throw another one up tonight, or what are you thinking? Ooh, if you're feeling a little drained, I totally get that as well.
I just gotta clean the house a little bit. But that's
Okay.
about. Maybe.
Just
Just hit me up when you're done.
In a few hours. Yeah.
Yarp.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna. I have so much shit to do.
Well,
man.
then-
It's fucking fucked up.
Then that's when we say this has been another episode of Nitro Ride.
Hey, this has been another episode of Nitro Ride.
It's been an interesting day. We
Yeah.
bought banners and I got a nice new shirt
Yeah, we went and said hi to
my
Conduit.
lady, to the Conduit,
To the Conduit. It'll be a character that's introduced pretty soon.
and well, probably when we're talking about social media deeper.
Yeah,
I'm excited to get into that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the standards episode, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You want to just nix it right here? For me?
Yeah, let's just nix it right here.
Okay.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah.
Listening. Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you so much. There'll probably be more. Thanks. If check out the episodes that we already have uploaded at this point. Maybe by the time that we upload this episode, there'll be different like social media accounts
Yeah.
and
Oh,
potentially
well.
even a Patreon. But we'll see.
Come on into our little hut.
Yeah.
Bye.